So I want to try to get a few readings in. I want to first tap into what is the emotion of the divine masculine? What are they going through right now? And what are their emotions towards you? So I'm just going to shuffle these and see what comes out. What is the emotion of the divine masculine right now towards this divine feminine collective? And what are they going through right now? Ooh, so many cards just flew out. Okay, I'm just going to take the three that flipped over, and then the ones that didn't flip over, I'm going to put back. So those three, I'll start with that, and then we'll pull three more maybe. So the first one is patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. So what I'm hearing is a few things with this. Is that they're learning patience in their life to trust that everything is happening in divine timing. So they're learning patience, that they're trusting that things are going to work out in their life in divine timing. They're learning to surrender to the universe and have patience. So yeah, they're trusting that, I just stopped that on 111, but they're trusting that the universe is working in their favor, and they are starting to accept it. They're starting to accept that when they're ready, everything in their life will align. So in terms of this connection, they're trusting and they're having patience that they need to sort out things in their personal life, they need to sort out things on an internal level, and that the universe is working behind the scenes to help them through that. Spirit guides, creator, ancestors are helping them through that, and they're having patience with themselves that by them doing the work and surrendering and praying and meditating, that the universe is aligning everything for them. It's not going to happen overnight. They have to be consistent and keep doing the work, but they're having patience with themselves and trusting in divine timing. They're not rushing the process. They're not being impulsive. They're trusting and having patience, and they're having patience towards you with that, your connection, and you guys will align back. You're probably in separation when the time is right, because it's same patience, right? So, and also they're asking you to have patience with them while they work through their stuff and they figure things out on their own, go on their own self-discovery journey. Have patience with them, and they are hoping and accepting that the universe will align them once both parties are ready to come back together. And it's so funny that acceptance is the other one that flew out, right? And it was right next to patience. And what does it say? I accept that everything happens in divine timing. And acceptance, I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change. So it's like two things were like acceptance and patience. So they're learning that what things that they can change, right? They can change how their future looks. They can change where they go, where they choose to, what environments they choose to be in, who they choose to associate with. They can change their perspective, their belief system, all these things they can change. But they can't change what happened in the past, how their upbringing was, what happened in the past with you guys in your relationship, what happened in the past with karmic connections, what happened in the past where how they handled situations with all people in their life. So they're accepting, like, I can't change that, but all I can do is move forward and approach things from a different light, approach things in a new mindset, because they didn't know the things that they knew before, and now they're accepting that I didn't know the things that I know now, so how can I beat myself up over that, and how can I live in guilt over things that I didn't know, that I didn't have the tools to know what was better and how to be, and what this divine path was, and the divine journey and the creator and all these stuff. They didn't know about those things before, so they're accepting that those things I can't change the past, but I can change my present and make a better future for myself. So that's good. So they're having the patience, they're trusting divine timing, and they're accepting they're accepting that the divine will bring everything into union, and they're accepting that they can change certain things and can't change certain things. And then trust is the other one. And it says, I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So that's good. They're starting to trust. And they're, the acceptance is there, because I want to touch on, because I said, what is the emotions towards you? They're accepting what happened in the past. They're accepting that you guys were two wounded people that didn't spend time healing and needed to heal. And they're accepting that the mistakes that were made in the past on both parties that they can be fixed if both parties choose to change and have better communication. So they're starting to trust the process. They're trying to trust this connection, and that's why they're having patience with the connection and accepting that what was meant to happen happened, and they can't keep holding on to the past. They have to move forward if they want this connection to progress forward. And they're trusting their inner voice, because I think that a lot of the times they've been thinking in logic, that looking at all the things of why it cannot work out instead of what their heart is guiding them and leading them to do. So they're starting to trust the process, trust in divine timing, trust in their inner voice, their intuition. They're leaning more with their heart. They're leaning more with intuition. And that's like the progression, right? They're having patience, they're accepting, and then they're trusting. And the trust is what's allowing them to have patience, because they're trusting in the divine. So that's why they're having patience. They're trusting that they can't change the things that happened in the past, so they have to move forward. And they're trusting in this connection, that it's something far greater than themselves, that there's a purpose behind this connection. So trust is the main thing, and I think trust came out last time in the divine masculine as well. I'm going to pull 3 more cards, and then maybe I'll do some more. And then I'll end this reading and do something else. Side note, I just want to talk about these bracelets. I've always had bracelets like these. These are like my favorite types. And I got this owl one, right? And I always forget. I buy something and then I forget what the stones actually are. But like, it's like the moon ones basically too. And see that owl on there? Owls are my protection, my spirit animals, so I had to get that. And then this one was like luck and abundance, and it looks so cool, the colors. And it goes nicely with the pink and this. So these are the 3 bracelets I called, and I just want to read you the lucky owl, what it says. It says, this lucky little owl is especially for you, to watch and guide you the whole day through. He'll bring you good luck with the wisdom he has as he guides you along all life paths. So it's cute. Like, that's why I always say owls are protection. It's my spirit animal. So I had to get a bracelet with it. I love these type of bracelets. I want like 10 on there. But I didn't like the other colors, so I just got these for now. Anyway, so I'm going to pull 3 more cards on what the divine masculine emotion is, and in his life, how he's feeling, and towards you. So let's see what else comes out. Okay, that one. Still that one is coming out. It's been coming out for a while. To show you. Blame. Not a good one. I don't like seeing that one. Unless they're progressing past that. Okay, that one wanted to come out. The bottom 3, I don't know. Okay. Ooh, and that one. Okay. So, what came under patience is blame. So, okay, the top 3 rows are really like progressing forward. So the bottom 3 could be that what they were experiencing in the past, and that's where they're letting go of it. That's why it came on the bottom, and the top was like what they're actually experiencing right now. So it could be that because it says blame, I accept responsibility for my well-being. So this is that they're letting go of the blame, because sometimes when blame comes out is they're still blaming, but because it's under patience, that they accept everything happens in divine order, they're letting go of the blame because of the fact that they've gained patience to know that everything that happened in the past, and the acceptance card, right? Everything that happened in the past, the things that they can't change, they're not going to blame anymore. They're letting go of that blame, and they're accepting and taking accountability for their actions in the situation. And they probably were blaming you before and blaming themselves for this connection not working out, and now they're like, no, I'm letting go of that, because blame is not going to get us nowhere, and they have to move to a place of forgiveness, right? And hoping for you to forgive them as well. So they're letting go of this blame. And then doubt, right? Doubt is under acceptance. So that's, again, that's a good sign, because doubt says, I release the need to know all the answers. So that also goes with patience, that they're trusting divine timing, meaning that they have the patience to allow things to unfold how they're meant to unfold within this connection and within their life, all areas. So they're stopping to doubt, and that's what's giving them the patience, and that's what's allowing them to accept the things that they can't change. and trust in their intuition. So now they're not doubting their intuition. They're not doubting that this connection is divinely orchestrated. They're not doubting their feelings for you, trying to repress it and pretend that it doesn't exist. They're just going to get over it. No, they're trusting. They're stopped doubting that I actually feel deeply about this person. I love this person, and I'm not willing to let this person go. And that's why they're spending time trusting their intuition, hearing that their intuition is telling them that this is how I feel, and their intuition is getting them to stop doubting themselves, because their doubt is what stopped them from rekindling this connection. And they're stopped doubting their talents, their purpose, what they're meant to do in this world, because the next card was service, right? So they're stopping to doubt who they're supposed to be, who they are, what they're supposed to do, why they came onto this earth. Like they're stopped doubting it, and they're leaning and surrendering into the divine, and they're having patience with themselves to be able to figure everything out. So, and service, right? I feel good when I can help others. So they're realizing that they actually feel really good when they're helping, when they're giving to others, and they probably are a big giver, right? Like even within your relationship, they're probably a really big giver in terms of chemistry, in terms of physical touch, in terms of time, in terms of making you feel safe and secure. Like they were probably a big giver in a lot of areas, right? And being there for you. So they realize that they like giving, but so much pain and stuff that they happened, that people that they gave to took advantage of them and used them for their kindness and didn't give back to them. But they're realizing that they're trusting their intuition, that what their life path is, and they love giving. And within this connection, they're probably realizing that it was a give and take connection. So they liked being a service to you, and you liked being a service to them, giving to each other, because filling each other's cup, you're able to go out in the world and do more on your mission, because you guys have that love and safety and security with each other, that it ripples into the universe just by you going out and walking around in this world. When you guys had each other, you guys are already doing it on an individual level, but I'm just saying that when you guys come together, it like explodes out into the universe. So yeah, they feel good when they give to others, and they felt good in this connection because they felt how much you gave to them. That this connection that you were giving, and this was the first connection where someone wasn't just taking from them, was giving it back as much as they were giving them, if not more, right? So yeah, that's what they're realizing. And yeah, so just to sum it up in terms of this connection, they're having patience within this connection, that the divine is gonna lead them to when it's right. That's why the trust, right? They're trusting that their intuition and the divine is gonna tell them when is the right time for them to make a move to rekindle this connection. And they're having patience with themselves to do the internal work, do all the things that they need to get to a place where they raise their frequency and they feel good about themselves, and they overcome insecurities and self-doubt, which is what they're working through. They're working through this doubt, and maybe it might teeter-totter where they have moments where they doubt themselves, they doubt the connection, but they're leaning more into trust and trusting their intuition. And they're releasing the blame, right? They know that they need to release the blame on themselves, on you, within this connection, within their life, blaming themselves for other situations not working out, blaming themselves for why they are in the position that they're in. They're letting go of all of that, because blame doesn't get them anywhere. They just need to take accountability and move forward in all areas of their life. So they're having patience with that, right? They're having patience with themselves. They're leaning into trusting their relationship, and they're having patience with this connection. They're accepting that the things that happened in the past when you guys were both two different people, and they need to move forward from it by accepting that they can't change that, but they can change the way the future looks. Again, trust, right? They're trusting that this connection was divinely orchestrated, and there was a reason between you guys meeting, and they're trusting their intuition and how they feel about this connection, not just using their mind and fear and doubt, right? They're getting over that. And they are working on their life mission and realizing that how this connection was both reciprocal, give and take, right? Like both of you guys were giving into this connection. So yeah, that's what the Divine Masculine's emotions are at towards you and in their life at the moment.